All right, guys, welcome back. So we have a special guest here once again joining us, Anthony Donahue, the biggest Knicks fan, podcast 33rd and 7th, and of course contributor to NBA Tune In. Anthony, thanks for joining us for the second time. You are our first guest joining us for the second time. So an honor
back.
Both ways, and welcome back, of course.
No problem, guys. Thanks so much for having me.
Now speaking of just terrible feelings, let's talk about the Knicks. Let's talk about what happened during the draft lottery. The Knicks, of course, first they lose the coin toss to the Timberwolves, land one spot back.
Big win last game of the season.
Big couple wins, and now they have the 8th overall pick. So of course frustration across the board. What was your initial reaction to that?
I wasn't surprised at all. I actually thought. I'll be honest with you. I hate to sound negative because I'm usually a pretty positive fan. But I went to a Knicks party last night after the lottery, and a lot of people came up to me, friends of mine there, people that work for the team, and they were like, "Hey, are you feeling lucky?" And usually I'm Mr. Positive. I mean, every season the last 15 years on opening night, I can tell you a reason why the Knicks are going to be good, and most of those years they weren't. So people were coming up to me last night saying, "Hey, are you feeling lucky?" And I was like, "Nope." They're like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "Nope." I'm like, "What do you think we're going to?" I love when people, and I love how the day of the lottery, people say, "Where do you think we're going to get?" I have no freaking idea.
I'm not a mathematician.
This is why we brought you on afterwards and not beforehand. But I expected 7 at least, man. I expected 7 at least, and unfortunately we didn't get that. But now we do have 8, and I want to ask you, as a Knicks fan, who are you looking most forward for the Knicks to draft in this 8th spot? What's our biggest need? Who would you absolutely be happy with and kind of make up for this ridiculous season that we've had?
Well, no disrespect to Derek Harper, Charlie Ward, Chris Childs, or even Stephon Marbury, but the Knicks, or Ray Felton also. The Knicks have needed a great point guard since Walt Frazier.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a long time ago.
So, maybe Mark Jackson there a little.
Yeah.
As well. So I like the kid from France. I think he's a good point guard. Will he be there at 8? Possibility. You're probably not getting Chris Paul. You're not getting Steph Curry. You're not getting Kyle Lowry.
The 2016-2017 Knicks season, where does it compare? Because we've had some disappointing times. Where does this past season compare?
Okay, so the last, obviously the 90s we didn't win a championship. So when you lose in the springtime, late in the spring, it's a different type of depression.
Mm-hmm.
So the last 16 years, with every season being really bad, I can tell you a reason what made each season bad. I'm going to rank this past season, as the second worst Knicks season I've experienced the last 16 years. And number 1 is the 2013-2014 season. That's because you're coming off a season where you lost the Pacers in 6 games, you were 2 games away from the conference finals. You bring in Bargnani, you bring in Ron Artest, you bring in Beto Udrih, another year with Carmelo Anthony in his prime, you draft Tim Hardaway Jr., you thought Iman Shumpert was going to take the next step, and everything in the 2013-2014 season went absolutely wrong, and they ended up getting hot at the end. They missed the playoffs by 1 game, and what makes me the most mad about the 2013-2014 season is the Knicks, at the very least, treaded water those first 3 months, and then got hot. You know what happens? A few things. They make the playoffs as a 5 and 6 seed, maybe still advance because they would have been much better than the average 5 and 6 seed.
Sure.
But you know what else? You know what doesn't happen?
What?
They at the very least tread water in 2013, 2014, and not completely suck when the season started, and that's Phil Jackson doesn't happen. Because the Knicks were so bad that year, and with the protest outside Madison Square Garden, James Dolan made a move out of desperation, and that was begging Phil Jackson to take a role for the New York Knicks.
But how come we're not doing something of that sort this offseason? We've given Phil plenty of time to try to do something. Still hasn't really changed the culture, especially from the top down. And I'm not appreciative of actually how he's handling the whole Kristaps situation. We have the only unicorn sighted here in New York, and you're treating it as if it's not something special. Like, how come fans aren't really, coming out and batting for KP?
Man, I tell you, man, the Kristaps, I don't think the Porzingis situation right now, this needs to be fixed, and it needs to be fixed now.
I agree.
I don't know what's going on in KP's head. He hasn't really spoke to Knicks brass since he went to lobby after the season. He skips the exit meeting, which I didn't have a problem with because he's showing that he's sick of what's going on. He's sick of the way Phil Jackson has treated his boy, good friend, and mentor, Carmelo Anthony. He's sick of it. Then he holds his own press conference in Latvia, which was really, really bizarre. And he has basically been off the grid with the Knicks since. And what you don't want is the cornerstone of your franchise to feel disengaged and to feel upset at the way the direction of the franchise. And what was weird is when Phil Jackson spoke to reporters on Saturday at the Combine, he didn't even want to talk about Porzingis. Like, how weird was that?
Yeah.
When I think it was Berman of the Post asked Phil about Porzingis, and KP didn't even want to. I mean, Phil didn't even want to give an answer. How do you not say that's our franchise or our hopeful franchise player or a big part of our team moving forward? Phil gave it no comment on his prized possession.
I think he spoke more on Genie, right?
He did. All right, so let's talk a little bit more on the future just to wrap things up. Aside from Kristaps Porzingis, there were some other positives from the season. What can you really look forward to next year, Anthony? As a Knicks fan, as a self-proclaimed diehard biggest Knicks fan out there, what are you looking forward to here?
I mean, you got to be looking forward to year 3 of Kristaps Porzingis, even though KP tailed off a little bit towards the end of the year. I don't have his numbers in front of me, but I think he still averaged about 18
That's
points,
right. Yep.
About 7-8 rebounds, a few blocks. So you got to figure he's going to get better. So you got to be looking forward to another year of KP. Whoever we draft, whether it's Frank the Frenchman, a big man, or whoever, so whoever you draft, you got to be excited about. And who knows what moves they're going to make in the offseason, whether it's bringing in a max player, bringing in 3 really good players. So no matter what, there's always things to be excited about. I'm not excited about Joakim Noah.
Yeah.
If I see Joakim Noah catch the ball one more time at the top of the key for no damn reason, I'm going to scream!
I don't fucking blame you. I don't blame you.
All Knicks fans alike, man.
For what reason?
We're all...
Why?
I just want him to, get back to the 50% mark from free throw line. Like it's baby steps for me with Joakim Noah and stay on the court. Simple.
I want him to, if you're going to lead the team in assists, lead in the season, the whole season. Just lead the team in assists.
Yeah.
Have consistency.
There's a lot here. Anthony, where can our fans check you out?
You can check me out on Twitter, Instagram, Anthony MSG. I'm doing stuff with NBA TuneIn Radio. You can catch me on Friday nights on TuneIn with Karan Butler and Rick Kamla. So just make sure to follow my social media, Anthony MSG. I may be doing a draft party, do a lot of events with the Knicks where I bring groups of fans to games. I'm just very involved with the organization. I'm also a part of an event on June 4th at the Ainsworth. It's like a 90s throwback party.
Nice.
I'm hosting a Q&A with Larry Johnson and John Starks. So you guys should come. It should be a lot of fun. But just check my social media, Anthony MSG, and I'm always around. I'm always available, and I appreciate coming on with you guys, man. You guys do a fantastic job.
Wonderful. Anthony Donahue, once again, 33rd and 7th, also contributor NBA TuneIn. Once again, Anthony, thanks for joining us, and we'll probably actually have you back on right after the draft. So keep those wheels churning.
It would be an honor.
Excellent. Thanks a lot, Anthony.